What's up, everybody? So the new channel name is going to be Matt Maran Motoring, and so I'll usually introduce myself. What's up, everybody? Matt Maran here instead of Super Dorks Fan, but I can still kind of rush it out, Matt Maran, and it kind of rolls off the tongue very nicely. So Matt Maran is a shortened version of my last name, which is much longer and confusing and hard to remember and spell. So I figured, I'll just shorten it. That way it's easier, for you guys to remember it when you're typing it in and whatnot. I figured it would make the most sense to go to something that has my actual name. So I guess I'll break down all the different reasons as to why I changed the name first, and then I'll explain, what that means for the channel and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to do something that was my actual name because, you look at other people like Chris Harris on cars and other professionals in the field who, are journalists and whatnot. They all use their real name. And this channel has never been a vlogging channel. It's not about, I would love for it to, be very professional and viewed in a professional way. I mean, I know my videos aren't overly professional. They're not super high production quality, and I'm a little more relaxed as far as my dialogue. Nothing's ever scripted on this channel. I just talk off the cuff. So I say nice 500 times and and a bunch of filler words because I'm just, talking off the top of my head and not, having a pre-planned out list of things to say. So, it's never, and that's not going to change. It's still going to be the same casual kind of approach to the channel that I've always taken. But I just figured, if someday there is some kind of big opportunity for something outside of YouTube, whether it's a show or something like that, it's easier to just use your actual name than to have a username. Now there are people that do use usernames or do both, like my buddy Jason Fensky, Engineering Explained, he kind of uses both and switches off and on. Matt Farah, The Smoking Tire, same kind of deal. And my username is still going to be Super Dorks Fan as far as the URL for the channel, so nothing should change as far as channel. You don't have to resubscribe or anything. It's just the display name that I changed, and apparently you can only change that display name once every 3 months. So hopefully you guys all like it. I'm planning on sticking with it, and it's like that. It's gonna be like that for at least the next 3 months. But like I said, hopefully it'll be like that for the life of the channel here from now on. And so that's why I just did the Matt Maran thing. I thought Matt Maran Motoring rolled off the tongue nicely, another M, and the motoring thing I wanted to add on there because, I know there are a lot of other YouTubers these days that just use their actual name, and that's it. But I wanted to make sure that newcomers knew that this channel was about cars. And that's one thing, because the Super Dorks Fan username was always very confusing to people. Newcomers in particular, were like, why don't you own a Subaru? Or even, I guess even back when I had a Subaru, why don't you have a WRX? Your name's Super Dorks Fan. Why are you driving a BRZ or a Legacy GT or whatever? And it was always very confusing for people. People, saw it, the first time they saw the name, they expected to see Subarus. And not only did I not own a Subaru, but I very rarely film or cover Subarus. So, it never really 100% fit, unless I would actually have owned one or something. It was just, I made the name 11 years ago, and it was just my username on the GameSpot forums. I was real big into the Need for Speed games, Underground 2, all that kind of stuff. And I actually ran a mini website that had a running list of all the cars, like a car list for each of the games as they were coming out. And I would, look at all the new screenshots and videos, and I was kind of like the authority on what cars you could expect to see in the next Need for Speed game, just from what we saw from publicly released stuff. And so that was what I was known by online, ever since probably the early 2000s. And so that was just what I made my username on YouTube. And that was back, I made my YouTube account in 2006. And I didn't actually start doing YouTube as like an actual thing until like 2009, 2010, I think. And then, it wasn't even that I started doing car reviews until about 4 years ago. So back then, 4 years ago, I probably should have just changed it back then whenever I knew this was something I was trying to pursue as a full-time thing, or, as an actual career in some ways. And so even though I wasn't doing it full-time back then, it was something I should have changed back then. But, back then there was a lot of opposition. Everyone knows me as Super Dorks Fan, and it's going to be weird, hearing a different name and all that kind of stuff. But, I think over time it's something people get used to pretty easily, hopefully. And I'm sorry it's taken this long to do the change, but I figured it's it's now or never, because, you know, the channel is only going to continue growing. It's only going to get bigger, and so it's only going to confuse more people if I change it later than changing it now. So I figured just rip it off like a Band-Aid and just do it and get it done and over with. So that's kind of it. So another reason, though, you know, in addition to not wanting to confuse newcomers with the channel, another reason for the change is manufacturers and car companies. I've had multiple car companies that have told me that they didn't like the Subaru in my name, and some of them have still gave me cars despite that, but they've been kind of reluctant about it, but others just flat out won't give me cars. And it's obviously because, again, newcomers and people that are unfamiliar say, oh wait, do you only do Subarus? Are you biased towards Subarus? And anyone that's watched the channel for any amount of time knows I'm not biased. I mean, I just said that the Type R was better than the STI last week in the video, so I mean, you know, people know if you watch the channel for any amount of time that I'm not biased. I always am completely objective when it comes to, you know, cars that I review and stuff, and I always give the pros and cons of everything, you know, and just I call it how I see it, and that's always the way I've been with the reviews. So, you know, but for people that don't watch the channel, and some PR person's just, you know, looking at the name, looking at my statistics and stuff, they might say, well, your statistics look good, but we don't like the name, so we're not giving you cars. And so again, that's kind of a PR, you know, and just how the things work as far as that kind of stuff goes. But thankfully, you know, I have had a lot of car companies that have still given me cars. So it's not all car companies, you know, I'm not blaming my press car, you know, struggles with the name completely, but it has been, you know, a deterrent and an obstacle for a lot of companies. And I want to, you know, provide you guys with reviews of all types of cars. So I don't want to just narrow in on the few companies that do give me press cars, or the few cars that are offered to me by the very, you know, kind owners that do offer them to me. I want to, you know, appeal to everyone, and that's why the Matt Moran motoring thing fits. It's about cars. This channel is about cars. It's not me vlogging myself going to McDonald's. It's not about, you know, how cool I am because I have 15 supercars. It's nothing like that. Nothing against anyone that does that. Vlogs are very popular, and I mean, most vloggers have way more subscribers than I do. And, you know, it's not about the supercars. I'd love to have 15 supercars, but I don't. So, I mean, again, no, I'm not throwing any shade at anyone, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew this channel was about, not about me, but about just cars and motoring. And it just happens to be that I'm always the one on camera, so I figured having my name in it fits. But, you know, it's not about me or anything. It's about just providing you guys with as many reviews of as many awesome and exciting cars, you know, that I can for you guys. So that's kind of hopefully what the new name will embody. But yeah, don't worry, nothing's going to change on the channel. Still going to have car reviews every Wednesday, the weekly updates every Friday. You know, it's still going to be the same style, same stuff, just different watermarks and, you know, different intro with Matt Moran instead of Super Dirks Fan. And that's going to really be the extent of the changes. I mean, I think that having the non-Subaru name will, like I said, open me up to more additional brands that I wasn't able to do before. And also, I am really passionate about classic cars, and I know the few classic car reviews that I've done, you guys have said you'd love to see more of those. And I do have a few connections and doors that are open to me to have me be able to review more classic cars, and I think that will fit better with this new name as well than the old name. So, you know, I don't think, you know, people see a Subaru guy reviewing classics, it kind of doesn't fit as well, but Matt Moran motoring reviewing classics, you know, kind of fits. And like I said, I'm not going to say the motoring part all the time. It's mostly just there as a signal to newcomers and stuff. This is a channel about cars. Usually I'll say Matt Moran and, you know, just refer to the channel itself, but, you know, I'll very rarely say all three words, you know, whenever I'm talking about it or anything like that. So it won't be too much of a mouthful. But yeah, so yeah, you don't have to worry about anything changing. Like I said, it's just the display name that's changing on the channel. So Super Dirks Fan is still the URL. So, you know, you type that in, that'll still bring up the videos. None of the videos are going to move. I'm not making a new channel or anything like that. It's all just on the same channel here, and you should still, you know, be subscribed to it and everything. And then as far as social media, you know, with the new social media stuff, Twitter is going to be Matt Moran Motoring. Instagram is going to be Matt Moran Motoring. So it's all going to be the same. Snapchat, unfortunately, doesn't let you change your username. So that is still going to be the Super Dirks Fan. And that's just, I don't know. I mean, Snapchat, I'm not too sure of, you know, how long it's going to last with Instagram's invasion of their territory and doing the same thing essentially. And I have way more followers on Instagram than I do on Snapchat. So I'm not sure about the Snapchat thing anyway, so if that ends up going away, it's not the end of the world for me. So I'm not too upset that that's still on the old name. But for the main stuff, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook are all going to be Matt Moran Motoring. Like I said, you should still be following all of those, you know, even if I change the username. So shouldn't have too many worries there as far as that goes. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I just, it's all good news, guys. You know, like I said, nothing's changing. Nothing is going to be different. It's all the same basic stuff, just with, you know, a different name. And like I said, I'm really excited. I think it's going to open up a lot more opportunities for the channel, and, you know, get me a lot more exciting cars, you know, to review for you guys, make for better videos, and should just be all around good. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Your honest thoughts, though, about the name. You know, I've been kicking around. I've been asking a lot of people privately, you know, what they think of it and stuff like that, and it's been pretty well received. So, I mean, I know not everyone's going to love it. And like I said, it'll take some people some time to get used to the new name, but I hope that you guys can all support me in this change here, and hopefully, you know, you guys also will like it. And like I said, we'll be rolling out some shirts as well, some merch that has the new name, but I'm also going to do some merch that has the old name for those of you that still do want a Super Dorks fan shirt. I want to make those available. It might be more of a limited run versus, you know, the other merch, which should be just available, you know, for as long as people want it, I suppose. But yeah, and so like I said, that the merch and stuff should hopefully be coming, you know, sometime later on this summer. Not too long of a wait for that. But yeah, so it should all be good. But yeah, once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'm excited for this new chapter for the channel. Take care.